I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Matt Duchesne of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Justus Aros of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier, and before we get started on the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. And once you're good and educated about the show, well, then you can click on that merchandise tab. That's going to take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, all of our different special event logo t-shirts, and so much more. All of the gimmicks you've come to know and love and expect from the Renegades of Puck, still available in our online store. Socks, wall art, throw pillows, bed sets. That's right, you can outfit your entire body or your entire home with Renegades of Puck merchandise, and we sure would appreciate it if you would go ahead and do that. We've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is of critical importance to this independent hockey operation, so listen up. Here's how you can help us out. Doesn't cost you a thing, and it certainly doesn't take much time. You can give us a like, a follow on some of the following social media platforms: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and also Twitter. You can also find us on YouTube, and thank you so much to all of our recent subscribers and all of our people watching Renegades of Puck TV. We sure do appreciate each and every one of you. When it comes to the audio podcast, just search Renegades of Puck on your preferred platform or check out one of the following examples: Google, Stitcher, Spotify. You can find us on all of those different platforms and plenty of others. Again, just search Renegades of Puck. The podcast is out there and totally available to you, and thanks to the full press NHL network, we are being heard by more Renegades than ever. Hopefully be able to make a substantial announcement here in the next coming weeks about the milestone of replays, downloads that we are about to eclipse. Venmo is how you can become a sponsor or a partner of the show. Just go to Venmo and search Renegades Puck or scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. Thanks to generous Renegades just like you watching and listening right now, we've been able to make significant upgrades here to the bunker. Lighting, microphone, camera, and so much more. Looking to build out some behind-the-scenes equipment here during the somewhat off-season. We are not taking an off-season, but during the summertime session, we're looking to do some upgrades behind the scenes that's going to go a long way to helping out the efficiency of the show. So even $1 goes a long way to helping the Renegades of Puck. So again, stick taps, love, and respect. Sure to appreciate each and every one of you out there who has supported this independent hockey operation. Now, I know it's time for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. Time for operation number 745. That's right. Time for show number 745. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators have been eliminated from playoff contention, but the regular season continues on, and it is business as usual here in the bunker. The Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 5th place in the Central Division with a little E to the left of their name. After 81 games skated, they have one more game remaining on the schedule. They have a record of 42, 31, and 8, 92 points on home ice, which is where the Nashville Predators' final game of the regular season will take place. They have a record of 22, 14, and 4. The Preds have scored 226 goals on the season. They've given up 234 goals. That's a goal differential of -8. Now, the Nashville Predators' next opponent is the Colorado Avalanche, and the Colorado Avalanche are currently fighting it out with one game to go in the season for the number one spot in the Central Division. That's right. This next game could be a spoiler game by the Nashville Predators on the Colorado Avalanche's designs of winning the Central Division. Let me update you on the division, then we'll talk individually about the Avalanche, then we'll get into the matchup itself. At this moment, there are only 4 games left to be played in total in the Central Division. Now, one of those games is taking place between the Arizona Coyotes and the Chicago Blackhawks. That eliminates half of them. And the other game taking place in the Central Division between the Nashville Predators and the Colorado Avalanche. That is the only game that matters at this point in the season. Now, why does it matter? Because at this exact moment, the Dallas Stars completed their season, 82 games skated now, 108 points. The Colorado Avalanche have skated 81 games. Of course, this game against the Preds will be their final game of the season. They have 107 points. So that means a victory over the the Preds by the Colorado Avalanche will give the Colorado Avalanche the Central Division title for the second year in a row. Of course, they're defending Stanley Cup champions. So this game has big-time implications that will set the playoff matchup and also determine the division winner when it comes to the Central Division. So right now, I cannot tell you who the 2-3 matchup is going to be, nor who the division winner is going to be moving forward. So we have Dallas finishing in first place with 108 points, Colorado with one game to go at 107. The Minnesota Wild have locked in the 3 spot. Their season is complete with 103 points. The Winnipeg Jets, their season is complete. They've locked in the number 4 spot and the second wild card spot with 95 points, and then the Nashville Predators with 92. The St. Louis Blues finished their season with 81 points. Arizona, Chicago still playing one more game, 69 points and 58 points respectively. Now, the Colorado Avalanche, they have a record overall of 50, 24, and 7, 107 points on the road, which is where their next game will take place. They'll wrap up the regular season at Bridgestone Arena. A record of 28, 11, and 1, 276 goals for, 223 goals against. That's a goal differential of plus 53. Impressive right there. For the Nashville Predators, no games remaining on the schedule. The season series between these two teams goes back to November the 10th when the Nashville Predators were in Colorado for the first time, and they fell 5-3. Lankinen got the start. 30 out of 35 took the loss. It was Josi, Tolvanen, and Johansson with a goal each in that game. None of them are available for this final game of the season. Georgiev got the victory, 32 out of 35, and it was Rantanen, 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. Now, the 25th of November is when the two teams should have played at Bridgestone Arena for the first time this season, but that game had to be canceled and postponed due to the broken water main outside of Bridgestone Arena there along 5th Avenue. So that game was canceled, rescheduled, and that is the game that we are previewing right now. They would meet on December the 17th in Colorado one final time. It would be the Colorado Avalanche securing a 3-1 victory over the Nashville Predators. UC Saros would take the loss 27 out of 29. Georgiev got the victory 25 out of 26. Matt Duchene scored the only goal for the Nashville Predators. Makar had 2 points in that game, and Rantanen scored yet again against the Nashville Predators. They would meet on December the 23rd when the Nashville Predators would fall at Bridgestone Arena 3-2 in overtime. UC Saros would take the loss 43 out of 46. Johansson and Duchene would score a goal each. Georgiev in that game would pick up the victory 37 out of 39, and Mikko Rantanen 1 goal, 1 assist for 2 points. So Georgiev and Rantanen have absolutely tortured the Nashville Predators this season. The Colorado Avalanche have a record of 3-0 against the Preds and have outscored the Nashville Predators 11-6. Now, the first and second place matchup, the Dallas Stars, Colorado Avalanche, and 1 point separating. Well, the Nashville Predators are largely responsible for these teams getting there. The Nashville Predators right now are 0-7 against the two teams combined and will determine who ends up being the division winner, and this will happen very quickly tomorrow night. Now, let's talk about how the Colorado Avalanche ended up with a chance to win the division on the last day of the season. They have really been on a surge, picking up a lot of points as of late. Let's go back and talk about their most recent stretch of action, their last 5 games. It was on April the 6th, a 6-2 win at the San Jose Sharks. On the 8th of April, a 4-3 win at the LA Kings. On the 9th of April, a 5-4 overtime win at Anaheim. Then returning home on the 11th for a 2-1 overtime loss versus Edmonton, but still picking up a pivotal point right there. And on the 13th, it was a 4-2 win versus the Winnipeg Jets. Georgiev got the start in the victory, 18 out of 20, and that's exactly why right now the Colorado Avalanche, who started off the season with a bit of a Stanley Cup hangover, as teams typically do when they have such a run like the Avs did last year. The Avs slowly climbed out of 6th place right up into the top 4 and then into the top 3, and now have a chance to take over the top spot, where Dallas has largely been in the number 1 spot this entire season. So the Colorado Avalanche find themselves surging at just the right time. The defending champs could be the Central Division champs after tomorrow night, setting themselves up with a very good matchup against the Seattle Kraken in the first round of the playoffs. Now, when it comes to the NHL ranks between these two teams, of course, we have a massive sample size right now. We have 81 games to talk about. So goals for category 3.33 for the Colorado Avalanche, that's 11th best in the league. The Nashville Predators, 2.72 goals for, is 28th in the NHL. When it comes to goals against, the Preds are 12th best in the league, 2.86, while the Colorado Avalanche are 10th in the league, 2.73 goals against per game. Shots for Nashville, 23rd overall in the NHL, 29.6 on net per game. And the Avalanche, 33.4 per game. That is 8th best in the league. When it comes to the shots against category, the Preds have given up tons of shots all season long, 33.3. No surprise to find them down around 27th in the NHL. Shots against, though, for Colorado, 31.2, 17th. Has them right there in the middle of the pack. In the special teams, this is where you're going to find actually some separation, and it's going to be kind of a strange fraction right here. When it comes to the power play, 27th rated power play for the Nashville Predators, 17.3%. I'm really looking forward to putting the Nashville Predators power play away after the next game for the season. 48 out of 248 opportunities on the season. When it comes to the Colorado Avalanche power play, 24.8%. Very good percentage. 6th overall in the league. 63 out of 254 opportunities. Now, on the penalty kill, flip it, invert it the other way around. It's the Nashville Predators with a superior unit right here. 82.3% kill rate on the penalty kill. They have moved up to 8th best in the NHL. That's the best they have been. They have been surging since the All-Star break. This young core has absolutely done the work on the PK. 48 power play goals against on the season. On the other side of things, the Avs have a 79% kill rate, 17th best in the league, 51 power play goals against. Let's talk about the individual stats for each of these teams. When it comes to the Colorado Avalanche, it seems like Nathan MacKinnon rarely gets talked about at all when it comes to some of the other players that are in the Western Conference. Of course, those guys that play in Edmonton. MacKinnon, 39 goals, 68 assists, 107 points on the season. Just another great season. Rantanen has tortured the Nashville Predators this year. He scored in every single game against the Preds this season. 54 goals, 48 assists, 102 points. Cale Makar also always plays really spectacular hockey against the Nashville Predators. 17 and 49 for 66. Compher, 17 and 35 for 52. He finds a way to sneak on the score sheet pretty often against the Preds. And Lehkonen, 20 and 29 for 49 overall. In net, Georgiev, 38, 16, and 6, and 919 save percentage, 2.53 goals against average. He has turned into be a really, really good starter at the NHL level. Yossi for the Nashville Predators is leading the team in scoring and will finish the season leading the team in scoring. 18 goals, 41 assists, 59 points. The Nashville Predators will not have a 60-point player this season. Matt Duchene, 22 goals and 34 assists for 56 points. Philip Forsberg, 19 goals and 23 assists for 42 points. And then Tommy Novak, your active leading scorer, now tied for 3rd overall on the team. 17 goals, 25 assists for 42 points. Glass at 14 and 21 for 35. In net, updated stats on UC Saros, 33, 23, and 7, 919 save percentage, 2.69 goals against average. Lankinen should get the final start of the season, with the game essentially being meaningless for the Nashville Predators. 9-7-1 is his record, 918 save percentage, 2.67 goals against average, and he's proven to be a perfectly competent, capable backup. He has an opportunity to go for his 10th victory of the season. I think that's an important number for him to get to, and I think that John Hines and the coaching staff should give him the opportunity to play in front of the home crowd one last time this season. UC Saros truly has been a workhorse, as you would expect, and I would anticipate he's going to be a Vezina finalist. 919 save percentage, 33 victories on the season, 2.69 goals against, and all of the other advanced statistics and analytics that Chris Mason, frankly, has done the best job of anybody of making the case. So if you haven't heard him talking about it on the broadcast or seen all of the graphics on the broadcast, check out Chris Mason on social media. Of course, the Nashville Predators color analyst and former Nashville Predators goaltender three different times. I love Chris Mason. Great guy. That's got you all set up for the Nashville Predators and Colorado Avalanche. It's the final game of the regular season. It's the fan appreciation night. Shirts off their backs. It's always bittersweet. We grind it out and we work real hard to get to this point in the season. And usually what keeps you going, keeps you driving, keeps the energy going is the playoffs that are coming up in just a couple of days. So it's a little bit strange for covering the Nashville Predators to not be talking about playoffs coming up. But of course, we will be moving on with our coverage and following most of these young prospects back to the AHL, back to Milwaukee, and we will be chronicling the Milwaukee Admirals' run at a Calder Cup this year. We don't even know what to call the group going back down. They're not black aces as you would traditionally have, where they would come up from the AHL to the NHL level at the playoff time of year. They are something far, far better, and the Milwaukee Admirals and the Chicago Wolves are going to have one hell of a playoff series when they find themselves on a collision course over there in the Western Conference bracket. All right, it's got you all set up. We got to get to the Rebirth Sports full game recap. Nashville Predators are hosting the Minnesota Wild, closing out the season for the Wild. Nashville Predators' first night of back-to-backs. Let's get to it right after these quick messages right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We go all the way back to April 13th of the year 2023 when the Nashville Predators were at home to take on the Minnesota Wild at Bridgestone Arena, closing out the regular season for the Minnesota Wild and closing out the regular season series, obviously, between the Predators and the Minnesota Wild. John Hines deploys his lines in the following combinations. Sanford, Glass, and Tomasino make up your first line. Sherwood, Novak, and Evangelista make up your second line. Trenton, Sissons, and Parsonen, Asplund, Jankowski, and McCarron make up your fourth line. Your defensive pairs: McDonough and Fabro, Barry and Livingstone, Stastny and Foote, and UC Saros gets the start in net. We are just 58 seconds into the first period, and Gustafson's coming up with a save on Tommy Novak. It's the first shot of the game at 2:28 of the first period. Saros comes up with a save on Dumba. It's the first touch of the game for UC Saros. 3:45 of the first period, Gustafson comes up with a save on Evangelista, plus his follow-up at the edge of the blue paint. 6:14 of the first, Saros a save on Patan. 7:07, Foote is off to the box. 2 minutes for tripping. It's going to be Jankowski, though, with his 7th goal of the season, short-handed. It was a deflection in the low slot off of Barry Speed. Off of the rush with speed, Jankowski crashes the slot area, is rewarded, gets the tip, just enough of a deflection to knuckle it over the goal line, and in his 7th goal of the season gives the Nashville Predators a 1-0 lead over the Minnesota Wild. At 10:33 of the first period, Merrill's off to the box. 2 minutes for interference. Gustafson comes up with a save on Sissons, and Gustafson follows it up with another save on Sissons, and Sissons would be involved in one other scoring opportunity for the Predators before the end of this power play. 14:03 of the first period, Saros comes up with the glove save on Addison at 14:19. Freddie Gaudreau's 18th goal of the season ties the game up at 1 apiece for the Minnesota Wild. It was a sharp angle one-timer for the one-time Nashville Predator. 1-1 now at 16:19 of the first period. It's Sherwood's 5th goal of the season. Now makes it 2-1 in favor of the Nashville Predators. It was Tommy Novak who did all of the work. He doubled back down along the goal line, steps out in front of the net, does some sick stick handling, and then loses the puck just barely, and Sherwood is right there to clean up the garbage. Everybody was mesmerized by what Tommy Novak was doing, followed him all the way across the crease. When the puck trickled loose, it was easy for Sherwood to clean it up right there. 2-1 now in favor of the Nashville Predators. 16:29 of the first period, Giroux's off to the box. 2 minutes for High, sticking in. Absolutely nothing happened. 2 minutes went by on the clock, and that is all. 19:21 of the first period, Nyquist hits the post. It looked like for just a second that might have gone in, but no review was ever requested, so obviously it was off the correct outside iron. We hit the end of the first period with the Nashville Predators leading 2-1 on the scoreboard and out shooting the Minnesota Wild 12-5. 3:58 into the second period on the clean sheet. Well, it's not so clean at this point. 4 minutes in. Saros comes up with a save on Nyquist. 4:33 of the second period. Saros comes up with a save on Merrill. 7:15. Gustafson comes up with a save on Livingstone. At 7:31, Gustafson a save on McCarron. The Nashville Predators, a really good burst of offense right here during the 7-minute mark of the second period. 10:46 of the second period. Gaudreau, Freddie Gaudreau, that is his 19th goal of the season. Yes, we already talked about him scoring in this game, so it's his second goal of the game. A broken stick, a broken play, and a delayed penalty call. All of it ends up with Freddie Gaudreau cleaning up again near the net. Freddie Gaudreau was really, really motivated in bringing the jam in this game. And now his 19th goal of the season, his second goal of the game, ties the game up at 2 apiece between the Nashville Predators and the Minnesota Wild. Or I should say, Nashville has 2, Freddie Gaudreau has 2, Minnesota has 0. 13:20 of the second period, UC Saros comes up with a save on Dewar. 15:24. Merrill off the box, 2 minutes for slashing. Gustafson would have to come up with a save on Luke Evangelista at close range. At 17:36 of the second period, Gustafson would come up with a save on Tomasino, and then at 18:02, another save on Jankowski. The Nashville Predators really generating some good offense here in the final minutes of the second period. But at 19:35, just before the end of the period, UC Saros would have to come up with a save on Dewar through traffic. A sneaky good scoring opportunity there towards the end of the second period. We do hit the end of the second period. The Nashville Predators are out shooting the Minnesota Wild 23-13. So Minnesota able to generate 8 shots on goal in the second period. We go to the clean sheet, and again, well, not so clean because we're 4:18 into the third period. Some low event hockey, teams really feeling each other out. It was a much closer defensive game than you would anticipate for a team that's already locked up and resting players for their playoff spot, and a team that's already eliminated from the playoffs. The Preds and the Wild played this game really, honestly, straight up in this one. So let's go back 4:18 into the third period, the first event of the third period. Gustafson comes with a save on Fabro. Glass was setting the screen and setting some really good, strong traffic. 5:12 of the third period. Saros comes with a save on Rousey at 6:23. It's Saros coming with a save on Dewar at 12:21. Again, the teams very tightly played. A lot of play between the face-off dots for several minutes here in the third period. So we go all the way to 12:20 of the third period, and Saros is coming with a save on Nyquist at 14:04 of the third period. Yakov Trennan's 12th goal of the season gives the Nashville Predators a 3-2 lead. It was a turnover just inside the blue line that led to a 2-on-0 with Trennan and Parsonen. Give and go. Trennan easy finish. Nashville Predators on the board again, now leading 3-2. But before I can even finish saying it, it's already time to go to 14:21. So just 16 seconds later, and it is the Minnesota Wild tying the game up at 3 apiece. Sherwood turns the puck over. He tried to glove it and drop it down. Could not handle the puck. Ends up being an easy finish for the Minnesota Wild. It was Patan with his first goal for the Minnesota Wild, tying the game up at 3 apiece. We go to the back of the sheet because we've got some high event hockey towards the end of the game at least. 19:23 of the third period. Saros comes up with the save on Dewar. That would hit the end of regulation. Each team secures a point in the standings. The Nashville Predators would outshoot the Minnesota Wild 29-24. Again, for a game where the points in the standings do not matter, these two teams certainly went straight up after each other. So let's get into the overtime section. We go to 3-on-3 now. 28 seconds in. It's Gustafson coming up with the save on Glass. That's the first shot on goal of the OT session. 55 seconds in. Saros comes up with a save on Nyquist. That would be his only touch of the overtime session because at 2:44 of the overtime, it would be Parsonen with the finish through the legs, bar down finish. It was the Merrick Malik shootout move from so many years ago, but now it's taking place live in action during overtime, and it's a game-winning goal for the Nashville Predators. Parsonen knifed his way to the net, and it was one of the sickest finishes of the year. You will see this goal on every single Nashville Predators highlight reel for the end of the season. You will see it on every highlight reel across the sports landscape tonight and for the next couple of nights. And for the NHL, you may see that one on the end of the season for the best goals scored on the entire season. What an absolute dagger of a high skill, incredible play right there. Through the legs, bar down finish, just absolutely incredible. Parsonen's 6th goal for the Nashville Predators is the game winner, 4-3 in favor of the Nashville Predators over the Minnesota Wild in overtime. And those pesky young Nashville Predators, they continue doing the work and they continue taking games incredibly serious. This was a lot of fun, actually. A very, very tight, highly contested game with nothing on the line except pride and future jobs for these Nashville Predators players. Minnesota Wild pulling their foot off the gas and backing things off, getting ready for their 2-3 matchup and awaiting to find out who they're going to end up facing in that matchup. So the Nashville Predators secure a victory. One more game to go on the season. That takes care of the Minnesota Wild. Up next, the Colorado Avalanche. The Nashville Predators have an opportunity to play spoiler. Let's talk about that, and let's talk to the Renegades of Puck. Time for analysis, time for the box score, time for so much more right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah!
UC Saros was 21 out of 24 in this game. Did not have much work, honestly, in the first period. Minnesota only 5 shots on goal in the first period, only 13 shots on goal through the first 2 periods, through 40 minutes overall. That's incredibly light considering the number of saves UC Saros is usually called upon to make from the beginning of the game all the way through to the end of the game. So a light workload, I think, kind of threw off his timing just a little bit, but in the third period, the workload got a lot heavier, and of course in overtime, and he was decent. He played a good game overall, and he did what was necessary to help his team secure a victory tonight. So UC Saros, not the most clean, crisp game that you've ever seen, but the Nashville Predators also made some mistakes directly in front of him. But he secured the victory in this game, and that is good enough. His 33rd victory now of this regular season. We've got to talk about Juuso Parssinen. The goal that he scores in this game, he also adds an assist, 2 points. So it's a game-winning overtime goal. It is absolutely the highlight reel goal of the year in franchise history, other than Philip Forsberg and his 3-4 highlight reel all-timers. Philip Forsberg owns the top of the list for highlight reel goals in Nashville Predators history. As a matter of fact, Philip Forsberg has hit this very goal before. Also, has hit a lacrosse goal and several other wizardly type things. But Parssinen cements himself in franchise legacy history right here with this move right here in overtime. Now, listen, it's one thing to try to pull off a move like this in a shootout situation, but with active live defenders while you're knifing down the slot to the net at high speed, receiving a pass to go through the legs, bar down. Again, it should make the highlight reel for the entire season for the Nashville Predators. It should make every highlight reel across the landscape of all sports for the next day or two, maybe even wrapping up at the end of the week. And for the NHL, it should probably be in the plays of the year. It was that special. It truly was that amazing. It was a jump off of your seat, no matter how long you've been watching the game type of goal. So Parssinen, and he plays it as cool as can be, celebrating with the just absolute no smile at all for just a second. And then when he was asked about it after the game on the broadcast, he just said it was nice to make the home crowd smile. He did more than that tonight. Game-winning goal for Parssinen. I hope we see more of that type of skill level in the future. We're just beginning to scratch the surface on a player like Juuso Parssinen. Jankowski picks up a shorthanded goal for the Nashville Predators in this game. Did you stop and think for a second? That sounds familiar. Jankowski, shorthanded goal. That's because it was his third shorthanded goal of the season. Jankowski has, 7 goals on the season, 7 in total. 3 of them are shorthanded, and the Nashville Predators have six shorthanded goals on the season total. So Mark Jankowski has half of the Nashville Predators shorthanded goals for the season, putting in the work out there and getting rewarded. Again, that's impressive stuff. Almost a specialist type of thing. Almost half of his goals have come shorthanded this season. I made a note to talk about Yakov Trenin's goal right here. It was a sweet finish on the 2-on-0, but I just wanted to mention Yakov Trenin because it's nice to see him putting the puck in the net. It's nice to see him finishing the season out and continuing to play strong. Listen, nobody on the Nashville Predators had the statistical season offensively that they wish they could have had, except for some of these rookies and some of these young guys that have come up from Milwaukee. But as far as the regulars, the veterans, and the players that started the season on the roster for the Nashville Predators, I don't think anybody had the statistical season they were looking for. But to see Trenin out there, 12th goal of the season, good to see him still out there bringing the jam and putting in the effort here at the end of the season. I just want to mention that because we really don't get to talk about Yakov Trenin that much as of late. McDonough picked up an assist in this game also, led the Nashville Predators in total time on ice, 23-15. He's as smooth as he can be, and he covers up for a lot of defensive deficiencies. It doesn't matter if the players are inexperienced. It doesn't matter if they're out of position. McDonough goes a long way to bridging the gap in a lot of these situations, and there was several times in this game where the defense was just starting to kind of unravel and fall apart, and there was McDonough just cool as can be in this 23-15 of total time on ice. He's truly a pro's pro, and I think he's going to be a huge part of this Nashville Predators team next season because he does have 1 year left here. So that's going to do it for my portion of the analysis. Again, I'm still just buzzing about the goal that I got a chance to see tonight. It's rare that you get to see such otherworldly high skill live in-game action like that, especially in a game-deciding moment, a sudden decision goal in overtime the way it was. Sean C. Smith's also got some thoughts about that, so let's go to Sean C. Smith from A to Z Sports. You can find him on Twitter at SCSNSH. He is the one and only Sean C. Smith.
Thanks, Charlie. Hey, Renegades. Sean Smith. And it's kind of hard to talk about this game because, you know, on the surface level, it didn't really mean anything. Of course, the Predators are eliminated from the playoffs, and all winning games from here on out is going to do is drop their draft order. And I guess that's not the biggest deal once you're out of the top 10. The draft order is not super important, but here's the thing. I'm a little bit disappointed tonight, and I'm going to keep this brief because I don't have a lot to say, but I'm afraid that now that I've seen Juuso Parsonen's overtime goal, that I'll never see anything as beautiful again. So, a little bit mournful. It was glorious. Glorious. Started humming the Battle Hymn of the Republic after I saw it. Wept a little. I don't think I'll ever be the same. Renegades, that's all I've got. Charlie, I'll send it back over to you.
The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business, and that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way, from startup to full-time operation. Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions. When it comes to the box score, all of the goals in this game scored by forwards. We have Jankowski, we have Sherwood, we have Trennan, and then we have Parsonen, each with goals in this game. When it comes to assists, Luke Evangelista, Glass picks up an assist. McCarron, Novak, Parsonen, all with assists. Sissons with assists. On the defensive side of things, Barry and McDonough also pick up assists in this game. So Parsonen, the only player on the Nashville Predators with 2 points in this game. He finishes with a goal and an assist. When it comes to the shots category, shots on goal, it was Mark Jankowski, 4 shots on goal, tied with Colton Sissons, 4 shots on goal. Did all 4 of Colton Sissons' shots come on that one power play, by the way? He was really, really determined to fire a puck into the net right there. And good for Colton Sissons. Again, I always appreciate what he has done. I've covered his entire career, and he is not appreciated enough. 4 shots on goal for Sissons in the game, 4 shots on goal for Jankowski. Jankowski does get one of them to go into the net. When it comes to block shots, it was Ryan McDonough leading the team with 4 block shots in this game. Again, McDonough picks up an assist, leads the team in block shots, leads the team in total time on ice, and makes up for the majority of your defensive issues out there whenever he can be out there. So Ryan McDonough, a truly steady professional defensive game. When it comes to the physical category, you know what? There just wasn't that much of it. It was tight out there, and there was certainly some checking, but this wasn't a physical game. This wasn't Minnesota, Nashville fighting it out for a playoff spot. This was Minnesota already had their playoff spot determined, and the Nashville Predators were already eliminated. Yes, they played very hard, and I was very happy to see how hard they did play against each other. But my point being, it wasn't that physical overall of a game. McCarron did lead the Nashville Predators with 2 hits, sparse throughout the lineup. There are single digits all across the board. When it comes to time on ice, 19:01 total time on ice. Luke Evangelista. John Hines' time might be limited here as the Nashville Predators head coach, but at the end of this regular season, he is certainly putting his trust in Luke Evangelista, who has led the league team in time on ice as far as forwards go a couple of times as of late. When it comes to total time on ice, go to Ryan McDonough on the defensive side of things, 23:15 in total time on ice. Impressive stuff out there. When it comes to the power play, 353 by Glass was the most for the Nashville Predators. When it comes to the PK, scanning very quickly, it looks like 111 by Sissons. Colton Sissons had the most PK time for the Nashville Predators, and of course, very effective as he always is in net. UC Saros, 21 out of 24, picks up his 33rd victory of the season. That's going to do it for the box score. That takes care of the numbers. We had to give Brian Baston from the Renegade Analytics desks the night off. Brian was frankly too emotional about Freddie Gaudreau scoring 2 goals. Freddie Gaudreau is Brian Baston's favorite hockey player, and Brian Baston formed quite the relationship and fandom for Brian Baston when Freddie Gaudreau was a Nashville Predator. Freddie Gaudreau holds a distinction of doing more than just scoring 2 goals tonight against his former team, the Nashville Predators. He, of course, for those of you who remember, is the only Nashville Predator to have a game-winning goal in a Stanley Cup final game. As a matter of fact, he has 2 of them. The only Nashville Predator to ever score a game-winning goal in a Stanley Cup final game is, in fact, Freddie Gaudreau, Game 3 and Game 4 of the Stanley Cup final against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Brian Baston simply cannot handle that much right now. So he'll be back in the trenches with us tomorrow with his season recap, and he'll start turning the page and looking towards the Milwaukee Admirals. So that's going to do it for the numbers and the analytics for tonight. Back to wrap things up right after these short messages here on the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm Crazy Charlie Saunier, captain of the Renegades of Puck. I'm also tired of the cold, tired of the dark, and tired of being landlocked. I'm also willing to bet that I'm not the only one who could use some sun, fun, and time in paradise with friends. That's exactly why I called our great friend Pete Weber. He told me, call Ships and Trips Travel, and now we're all going to Mexico. That's right, Renegades of Puck, July 15th to the 20th of 2023. Dreams Vallarta Resort in Puerto Vallarta is the destination to hang with Pete Weber in paradise. To join Pete and the Renegades of Puck in Puerto Vallarta, go to www.shipsandtripstravel.com. That's shipsandtripstravel.com, and just click on the ROP on vacation tab. Don't stay landlocked. Join the Renegades of Puck in paradise, July 15th to the 20th, 2023 in Puerto Vallarta. Pete Weber, the Renegades of Puck, and you. It's time to ditch those skates for flip-flops and fun in the sun. So here we are. It's the last game for the Nashville Predators this season. And yes, several of the Predators roster as it currently is will be heading back to the AHL and going back to Milwaukee. The exodus has already begun, but with 1 game to go in the season, need to finish out this NHL season. And I've got to tell you, for the Nashville Predators, they do have an opportunity to do something in this last game. They have an opportunity to play spoilers. They can determine who will be the division champions. If the Colorado Avalanche come to Bridgestone Arena and defeat the Nashville Predators and pick up 2 points, the Avalanche will celebrate winning the Central Division at Bridgestone Arena. Nashville Predators and Nashville Predators fans have seen the Colorado Avalanche celebrate on Bridgestone Arena ice. Not sure that anyone has the appetite for that. Now listen, eating into getting Dallas the Central Division Championship is a sandwich I'd rather not eat into either. So you pick your poison, but the Nashville Predators have an opportunity to help determine the Central Division champion tomorrow night at Bridgestone Arena, which will also set the playoff matchup. So the Nashville Predators can really screw somebody up pretty bad. So they'll determine who the Central champs are tomorrow night. It'll be Dallas or it'll be Colorado. The Preds will be the team that is going to decide. And considering the Preds are 0-7 combined against these two teams, already went 0-4 against Dallas. Well, if they go 0-8 in total, then it will be the Dallas Stars losing out by 1 point to the Colorado Avalanche this season. And this might be the most important reason to play it out and to play it strong. For some of these current Nashville Predators, the circumstance that has found them getting the opportunity is one of the rarer moments in sports. To have so many injuries all at one time, to have a team that is dismantling its core and replacing it with youth all at one time. This is a truly strange nexus point for a franchise and for many of these players. Some of these players have come up, performed, and even excelled of not only above expectations, but period, excelled. For some of them, though, this will be the last taste. Not many of these players will have spots on the Nashville Predators roster next year. Yes, it's very easy to look down the list and say Tommy Novak's going to finish tied for third, maybe even in third scoring team. So it's easy to say Tommy Novak's going to earn himself a spot, or Philip Tomasino is going to earn a spot coming out of training camp. But it is wide open, and there are so many players with so many opportunities, and there are going to be so many more players and different assets coming in. It is going to be a true franchise jumble. This could be the last moment for some of these players in their NHL careers, in their NHL opportunities. I hope not. I have been impressed with each and every one of them as they have come up, and I certainly hope that they get their chances again, either here in Nashville or somewhere else, somewhere down the road. But this game 82 of the regular season, it's more than just the final game of the regular season. It's more than just fan appreciation night. It is an opportunity to make a name for yourself, secure a spot in the future, at least going into training camp. Make the right impression if you haven't already done so. But for some, this will be your final shifts. This season will go down as an incredible moment and a special, special season. I wish the best to each and every one of you out there. I hope you go out there and kick ass against the Colorado Avalanche to finish the regular season. Give the fans a high note to walk out on. Give yourselves all a step up heading into development camp. It's been great covering this team the last 30 games or so. First half of the season, first half plus, it was pretty rough and it was getting pretty dark. But this new youth movement has reinvigorated everything about the Nashville hockey community. The fan base is re-energized. The team is re-energized. The analysts and all of the people around the media seem to be renewed. So as we head towards the summer cycle, I can't wait to see where this franchise is going. The most important development and prospect camp since the first development camp in franchise history comes this summer. The draft is here. The award show is here. It is going to be a very, very special cycle for the Nashville Predators. We'll be back to cover game 82. We'll wrap the season. Then we're flipping everything over to Milwaukee Admirals coverage here from the bunker. Looking forward to breaking down each and every game, amplifying all of the coverage coming out of Milwaukee, and handling the business exactly like we did last year during the Admirals' first playoff series victory in many, many years. Hopefully the Admirals are going to go on a long run. They are certainly primed and ready, and they will have full support coming from the NHL level back down to the AHL level. It's going to be a hell of a ride as we continue to make the case for Carl to become the Nashville Predators' next head coach. But first, he's got unfinished business in the AHL, winning the Calder Cup. That's going to do it for operation number 745. Episode 745 for the Renegades Puck is over. We appreciate your viewership. We appreciate your time. And most of all, we appreciate each and every one of you. Stick taps, love, and respect. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier.